Today, Precarious plays
MegaMan Battle Network 2.
I think that I've covered all of the board games. One of the reasons that I was talking about board games is because that's what all of these tracks remind me of a lot. Not this part of the game. This part feels completely different, but when you're running around the track and there are all kinds of traversal mishaps and things that can happen and puzzles along those lines, it sort of gets me in the mindset of Candyland and other types of games where you progress around a board.
Candyland. I haven't thought of that game for a long time. See that?
Yeah, did you know you can lose at Candyland?
I don't remember how you play Candyland.
It
heavily relies on the board itself, doesn't it?
I'm pretty sure it only relies on the board itself.
Like the rules are fairly insubstantial. It's just like
Follow the instructions.
yeah.
Go forward. It's just random. I think. I mean, I haven't played in a long time. I
didn't really like board games until someone introduced me to Monopoly and Clue.
Well, those are better games. I mean, they're still kind of popular kid-style games, though Monopoly should not be a kid game. But, you know, there's more going on there. There used to be this game called Life.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Life.
I remember liking that for a while, but I would always lose my patience before anything interesting happened. And then I would just start picking pieces out of the thing and putting kids in the car just because. I think I was a kidnapper. I'd be like, so you have a husband now, and I'm like, okay. You know, I don't remember the win condition. Like, was it retirement?
Don't die?
Don't die, but that's stupid. Everything dies.
But not in board games. If the win condition is don't die, I think that truly means that Life is the Dark Souls of board games. You weren't expecting that, were you?
No. Although, I think so. I think that's great, though, because...
No, I'm pretty sure that the Dark Souls of board games, like classic kid board games...
Yeah.
...is probably... Oh, okay, so the throttle is fine. It's a game that I wanted to play. Oh no, this is sort of a sad story I'll have to come back to. Okay, throttle program began working normally.
Back to the shaky... Oh, Lord.
And we've gained altitude.
Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods yet? What's up? Of course, the landing gear.
Called it. Bale called it a while ago. So the landing gear control program is finally on the fritz.
Uh-huh.
I don't think they ever did the wing, which is what the other wing, which is what I expected them to do.
Yeah.
So props for not going like piece by piece, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh no, now it's infected now it's just infected like generally like the shell of the ship, like the photovoltaic layer that powers all of the electronics.
Mm-hmm.
Huh, actually, now that I think about it.
All right.
Anyway. Control the landing gear control program. The gear won't.
What gear?
Oh, land.
This isn't. Oh God.
The tires, son. The tires, son. Without them, we'll have to belly flop.
Belly flop.
Land without tires on the stomach of the plane. If we fail, we'll go up in flames.
MegaMan, get to the landing gear program fast, or else we're in for the worst.
Gotcha, I'm on it. So, there was a game that I saw advertised on TV pretty often.
Mm-hmm.
Called Mousetrap.
Yeah, I remember that. I've never played that.
It is an elaborate game, from what I understand. I never had the opportunity to play it. My mother was volunteering at a women and children's shelter at one point when I was young.
Boy, this is already going.
No, it's only sad, I think, from my perspective.
Okay, well that's good.
So she was volunteering at a women's and children's shelter, and there was a youth there. I missed everyone, and now I'm gonna get slammed in the face head. Ugh. Be back? I wound up playing, sort of playing Mousetrap with one of the children there, who was slightly younger than me. Young enough to expect me to read the instructions and bear the burden of understanding that this was like not a this was far from a complete edition of the game.
Oh, so it was like a game box that had a bunch of pieces missing?
Exactly. For a game that is like...
all about the pieces.
Right. So we basically just sort of invented a game with what was there.
Aww.
And like I said, only sad for me in the retelling, in that I know that it was a falsehood. It was not the game that was supposed to be played. The other child seemed happy enough with that particular exchange, which I guess is fine.
That's nice.
Yeah. It's sort of like recently there's a game that's being bandied about online, and there is a scene where like a child rides on, I'm trying to think of what the device is called. Carousel. Rides on a carousel solo. And there's something about that just feels deeply tragic to me.
Yeah.
Seeing like a kid, and the kid is like really happy about it.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, it's a carousel.
And
it's
you're like, why is no one else on the carousel with you, buddy?
Yeah. And it's like, carousels are not deeply engaging devices to begin with. And the joy on this child's face riding like this lonely, isolated carousel, which is clearly like, it's a big one. It's meant for like a crowd of people.
Yeah.
And just seeing them be like, yeah, this is the full experience. It's upsetting. It just upsets me.
Oh man, I loved carousels when I was little.
Yeah, but alone.
I mean,
just on your own, just you on a carousel.
I liked it better that way. Yeah. I was a little bit shy and weird even when I was little. I was shy and weird around people my age. I was fine with grown-ups because that's who I was around a lot. But I didn't like other kids because they were like really weird and rude and like loud. And childlike. So yeah. Anyways, I'm suggesting that I was the one weird, but yeah, no, I remember. I loved horses when I was little. I was one of those kids that I had like horses everywhere. I had like the horse poster you buy at the book fair. I took horse riding lessons. I read all the library books on horses. I actually found a library book on how horses evolved and read that several times at my elementary school. I like actually used the library at my elementary school like exhaustively to the point where I like knew most of the books in my favorite sections. And I just loved horses, and I thought carousels were even better because it's super dressed up fancy magic horses that you don't have to feed, that don't poop, that you don't have to keep, right? So carousels were super fun, and especially if it was the kind where the horse goes up and down, because sometimes the horse just sits there, which is kind of like, whatever, this is a bench. But I thought that carousels were really great. But there were always like lots of other people on there. And I remember one time we went to a mall somewhere, like during a weekday, like when there wasn't a crowd, and the carousel was open and no one was on it.
And you were like, finally! This is what is
Yes!
clearly a group activity for me and me alone.
Well, like, what? It's not like you guys, like, you high five while you're on the carousel. Like,
I know,
what do
you look around and you're like, hey, this is fun. We're on the carousel together. Isn't that neat?
No. What I would do is whoever was supervising me, I could never get the grown-ups to come. I got my grandmother to ride the carousel with me a couple of times. But whoever my chaperone was would, like, put me on the carousel, make sure I was good, step off,
and then get to the day drinking because you were exhausting.
I know I was exhausting, but they didn't do that. But I would the most fun thing was that I would ride around, and then every time my parental guardian unit, grandma, dad, mom, auntie, whatever, would show up, I would wave to them emphatically like I hadn't seen them in a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would, like, sweep by them and then go back around and wait for it. Hey! It's me! I'm on a magic horse!
I've got some bad news.
That was super fun for me.
I've got some bad news for you.
Yeah?
I don't know how to break this to you.
Yeah?
That carousel, I think, featured predominantly non-horse characters to ride.
What?
Yeah.
Like lions and giraffes and stuff? I always thought that was
or
weird.
just like abstractly, I think it may have been a seahorse.
A seahorse? That's cute, though.
No, that's not the reaction I was expecting, but, well, there's no accounting for taste.